Hey folks, welcome back. Today I want to do a video here of how I maintain the front end of my car. Basically from the lip of my hood here down. And I think I'm going to do a series of videos over the next few weeks on how to maintain specific parts of your car, or how I maintain specific parts of my car, and just break it down. Because what I do on a weekly basis is I maintain my entire car. Wash it either with a detail wash or a in-depth like 2-bucket wash, and then I come back when I drive my car and I break down the areas like this, like the front end here, and maintain it specifically on its own. So what I want to do is just kind of go over general maintenance procedures and some of the issues you have or you run into with this specific area of the car. Each area has its specific problems and solutions. So first off, I generally maintain this car with a pH type of soap. With this, when you get bugs and road grime and stuff like that on the car, what I usually do is I'll take the soap and I'll spray the entire front end down, let it soak, and that's the key there. Let it soak. Don't let the solution dry. So keep it moist, keep it wet, for however long it takes. And if you maintain your car on a weekly basis, then you don't give these things time to really etch into your clear coat and really set up. So you tackle it pretty much right away, and you're okay. Now it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're in the process of breaking your protection down, you can go with the non-pH soap, and there's some soaps here I got. This is usually a pH type of soap I use here, along with Omni No Rinse. If I'm breaking my entire protection down, I'll go with something like Purple Power Vehicle Boat. Now, this is not a pH neutral soap here. This will completely tear down whatever protection you have in your car. It'll pretty much help take it back down to bare clear coat, bare paint. Of course, always when you're mixing your like Wolfgang or Omni No Rinse or whatever else you're trying to use, Eco, and I kind of use my Eco, put it as a detailer, but always make sure you're mixing it up and use distilled water. That's extremely important, because for some reason, for example, it doesn't have the minerals in there like your tap water does. So if you're if you allow it to dry on there, for example, or if you miss a spot, if it does dry, it's not going to stain your clear coat. Even if it does leave a small spot, it'll usually wipe right off. Once you get this cleaned up and cleaned off, you still want to go back and and protect it again. And I'll show you some of the things that I use to protect it. And here we go. Matter of fact, let's go over the stuff now. Some of the things that I use. Eco, this is, of course, I got my McKees. I like using this some. Of course, you guys seen me use this before. Got my McGuire's ceramic waxes, which is what I've been using on this car here for the past 6 months. I've got the diluted version in my bag in the trunk, and then of course for a quick spray cleaner and polish, you got the old Honda spray here. I've used this for years. So basically, once you wash it down with either your pH neutral soaps or your especially if you break it down with this stuff here, or dishwashing detergent or soap or whatever, you definitely need to go back with some kind of protection. It's not so important if you're using something like Wolfgang or Omni, but as my general maintenance, I do that anyway. Alright folks, right now what I have is some Wolfgang diluted down and put it in a spray bottle. I've used distilled water to dilute it. And what we're going to do here is we're going to spray the entire front end, the grill, lights, bumper, lower section of the front end. Spray it completely down, dripping. You can concentrate on spots like this. gotten some stuff that's stuck on. Just let it sit on there, and I'll let it sit up for a few minutes. And now you could go more aggressive than a microfiber if you want to, but I found with general maintenance of my car, keeping my car maintained on a weekly basis, if I let it soak, like something like this, let it soak, it doesn't take anything more than just a microfiber to get the bug guts and road grime off. The main thing here with this concept here is to make sure you go back, you don't let it dry, and you get it off before it dries. And if it does dry, you wipe it down shortly thereafter. And another thing too is don't do this in the sun. Don't do it in the heat of the day. I know some products claim that they allow, you can do it in direct sunlight and stuff like that, but I've just found that it works better if you just do this in the shade in the evening or something. And you can see this stuff starting to run off and starting to have areas that are starting to dry. So what you do is I'll take like this here, that came right off, but you can still see some. I don't know if you can on camera, but I can still see some of the grit and the guts on there. So I'll wipe it away, try to buff it off. And then you got all your spots. There's another spot there. That may even be a little road grime. You go and try to buff it all off. And you just work your way down and try to find all the spots that you can. On your lights also, it's like the bugs are attracted to your lights. There you go. There's one here. And I just use a microfiber towel to buff it off. And if for some reason I can't get it off, then I'll step it up to another, little bit more aggressive, either a material, which I try not to, or even something with a little bit more bite as far as a solvent. Going back to your to my non-pH soaps and stuff like that. But normally, if you just let this stuff soak, and you may have to go back and reapply it like this. Just reapply it. And it doesn't hurt that. I mean, even if I use this entire container on this one section, this cost me maybe a total of maybe $1. Even not that. So there's one there. There's a spot down here. Look at that soak. So I'm not going to go over the entire car with you guys on camera, but just giving you an idea. Trying to keep these videos a little shorter than I did. So I'll bring you back for finished product. Alright guys, now that I've washed it down, I've sprayed some of this Honda cleaner polish on here, on the paint surface. And then I'm going to go back behind that on the grill and the lower portion of the bumper and put some Ultra Smart detail spray. I'm spreading the polish across the bumper. And I personally use a damp, not a wringing wet, but a damp microfiber to do that. I just think it goes across smoother, helps smooth the polish or whatever I'm trying to do out. Then I'll go back behind it with a dry. Alright, go back behind the thing with a clean and dry microfiber. This one has never been used in anything. So, just buff the polish in. Now I'll go back and spray this down with some detail spray here, just to make it look nice. Now I'm only doing the grill. Alright folks, that's it. Just basically how you maintain the front end of the vehicle, or how I maintain the front end of my vehicle from the nose of my hood down. And if you find that you do this on at least a weekly basis, you won't have any issues. And you're still going to have, you know, minor damages from rock chips and stuff like that. And there's other things you can do to prevent that stuff. So just give you guys a highlight of what's coming next. I think what I'm going to go do next here is I'm going to do a video showing you how to maintain your rocker panels on a weekly basis. And then what we'll do is we'll move around the car and even do some of the under the car, the chassis and stuff. So if you guys and girls would like and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. Also tell me if you like this type of content. If you want to see something different, or if you want to see something specific, please let me know. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.